had another red day, and in fact my platform closed me out again for the second time in a row. And today it hurt so badly that after my platform closed me off, I had to take a long nap. It's important that we follow our rules, and that's where I went wrong this week. I decided to tweak the number of trades that I take, and it just snowballed. Today I took 32 trades, meaning I bought and sold 32 times, the same number as yesterday, ironically. And in the past, my policy was to only take 2 trades, and if I have 2 consecutive losses in a row, I will stop trading. But this week, I told myself, let's increase that number to 3 trades, to 3 consecutive losses in a row. And then after that, I just couldn't restrain myself, and I kept trading and trading and trading. Luckily, I have the total max loss automatically set with my broker, so if I hit that number, I can't place any more trades, so this saves me from myself. And what I saw in the open was this red bar, so sellers tried selling it off, and then the buyers, the green bar, came and engulfed the sellers, the red bar. And I'm proud of my entry on this. Instead of chasing it, I placed a buy order at this price. I figured that we have the moving averages, and we have this dotted line, which is previous closing price. So it came back, and my buy order got filled, and it popped up, but I did not take a huge position. I had a kind of small position, so I wanted more from it. It popped up by, so I got in at 120.63, and it popped up all the way to 121.55. So not quite a dollar, but about 95 cents or so. And I wanted more from it because my risk was, this much. Like, my risk was about $1, so I wanted at least $2 out of it. And it came back down. Once it came back down, I tried getting out right here. I try to not go negative once I'm positive in a trade, but because of slippage, I got out at 120.16, so I lost about I don't know, what is that? I can't even do math right now because of how devastated I am with how today's trading went. But yeah, I think that's about 63 120. I got in at 120.63. I got out at 120.16. You know what? Alexa, what is 63 minus 16?
63 minus 16 is 47.
There you have it. Thanks, Alexa. 47 cents per share. That's how much I lost on the first trade, which was a bad hit. And in hindsight, I don't think I should have traded it because the volume was at around 200,000, meaning that a small number of shares could sway the price, and either direction, and I thought I was on the right side of the trade because we sold off yesterday, and I thought someone may be trying to buy the dip and we will pop up, but that's not what happened. My next trade was on XLNX, which I had on my watch list. So XLNX, their CFO announced his departure, and the stock was down by 3% in the pre-market. So I had it on my watch list. I use a scanner to find stocks that are gapping up or gapping down by 2 to 3%, meaning the price of the stock has changed from yesterday's closing price by 2 or 3% to the upside or to the downside. So XLNX, I was watching it and the open, and what I saw was it sold off, but it popped up and reclaimed VWAP, this black line, and we stayed above VWAP, or it looked like it when I was looking at it. In hindsight, I should have been paying attention to the 5-minute. When I trade off the 2-minute. Also keeping my eyes on the 5-minute and the 15-minute and the daily chart. So seeing this move up, we pulled back to about the 50% mark of the move up, and then we popped up and we were consolidating around VWAP. I went long, but once it started to drop, I got out for a small loss, and I traded this thing again, I believe. Oh yeah, I tried taking a short. I figured, well, you know what, now we are below all these moving averages, meaning now all these moving averages are going to act as resistance, and I went short right here, and once it popped up, I tried exiting my position, but I went full size and covered my short position, and then I got long without realizing that was the case. Luckily, it popped up, and once I realized what was going on, I got out completely. So I made an accidental trade right here that actually made this trade positive, because this trade from here to right here was with heavy size, because I thought I was covering my short position, but it covered my short position, but because I had more shares on more shares in my montage, which is the execution, this right here, that buys and sells the shares on my behalf, and the number of shares that I had was twice as much. So it covered the short position, and then it got me long without me realizing it. But luckily it popped, and so this ended up being a profitable trade. After that, I traded DRI again. I traded DRI again, and this, yeah, so what did I see on DRI? On DRI, I saw that it came back to VWAP and this black line, which is the volume weighted average price VWAP was holding, and the fact that it was holding and we have not lost VWAP, I went long right here, but it popped up, and once it came back down, I got out for a break even. So the green triangle and the red triangle, those are my executions. So this is where I got in, and this is where I got out. But this was a pretty much a break even trade, and I traded it one more time, I believe, and I'm disappointed in how I handled this trade. This is where I got greedy, and it pretty much resulted in my demise for the day. I saw that we lost VWAP, this black line, and we popped up, and VWAP is now acting as resistance. We lost VWAP again. I placed a short sell order at this price at 120.29ish, and it popped up, it filled my order, and then it dropped, and it went in my direction. So I got in at around 120.29. It went to 119.55, which is low, close to low of the day. I should have covered half of my position here, but I got involved in another trade, so I was not quick enough to capture this move, and to be honest, I wanted more from it. I figured, since we tried going above VWAP, we lost VWAP, and now VWAP is acting as resistance. I thought we were gonna make a big move to the downside, but that's not what happened. It dropped, and once it popped up, I got out for a pretty much a break even. And one of my problems has been for the past, this week now, after experiencing losses like in the first or second trade, I'm expecting too much from my trades. I want them to make big moves, because here I had close to 120.30 to 119.56. I had over $1 move, but I didn't capture it because I had a couple of losses, and I wanted to make up those losses. So that's not the best way to trade. And I traded ENPH. ENPH was I tried longing ENPH, so it sold off in the open, and I saw this double bottom on the 2-minute and on the 5-minute. So as soon as we got above this green sloping line, which is the 9 EMA, which means the 9 average prices of the last 9 bars, and it's exponential, so it gives more weight to the latest bars. Anyway, I got in at this price at 26.38 or so, and it popped up to close to VWAP. Again, I wanted more from it. ENPH was down in the pre-market despite beating its earnings and revenue on the 17th, on this day, on 3 days ago or so. And plus, they had news that they plan to deliver a bunch of solar equipment to houses in the Washington D.C. area. So I felt the stock was strong. It's been going up steadily for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days on the daily chart. So I trusted this double bottom on the 2-minute and on the 5-minute, and I felt that we could at least test yesterday's high price. But we got to VWAP, and then once we came back down, I got out for a small win. And then after that, I don't think I touched it again. And yeah, so that was a trade on ENPH. See, it did what I thought it was gonna do. I just had to be patient, but I got in right here. I was expecting it to go to this line or to this point, and it almost did. But what can you do? So what screwed me over was ROKU. So I traded ROKU, and ROKU sold off heavily. the price moved by $25.76. It lost 19.3%. And I wanted to short ROKU, but I couldn't because my broker did not have shorts available. And so what did I do? I tried to catch the knife. After it sold off and we got above the 9 moving average, I went long right here. It dropped, I got out. Later on, it kept selling off all the way from like 127 all the way to 110. And I thought 110 could act as a potential support because it's a whole number. It's a nice whole number, especially considering that ROKU was coming from 127. So I placed a buy order at 110.02, I believe. Yeah, at 110.02, and I got filled, but that was not the low, and I got out right here. In fact, my platform closed me off because by this point I was very close at reaching my daily maximum loss. So that was that. I also took a stab at Netflix. Even on Netflix was selling off. I find myself trying to catch the bottom, and I went long right here, but it continued to drop. I should have shorted Netflix, but it's a higher priced stock. This was my first day trading Netflix, and I did go small with trying to pick up the bottom, and I was wrong, and I got out. We traded MU. So on MU, it's a shame because I could have made money on MU, but I was seeing that so MU sold off, and sold off and seeing that the bounce of yesterday's low, this red horizontal line, did not send us popping up, I shorted it. I shorted it right here, trusting this red bar to protect me, and we were at previous closing price, this horizontal dotted line, but it didn't drop. It popped up. I got out. I wanted to short it again once it got to VWAP, but I was already involved in a DRI trade, so I didn't take it. In hindsight, I was better off taking this trade because it dropped, and it did test VWAP again, but then after that it dropped. So that was that, so I was right, but my timing was off. And those are pretty much the trades that I made today. 32 executions, meaning 32 buys and sells. So disappointed with how I traded. This week has ended in a red week. So all the time that I put in this entire week was pretty much for nothing. Well, I guess I wouldn't say for nothing. I guess there is always a lesson in losing, but I'm glad that I have the daily total loss risk automatically placed on my account, so when I reach that number I can't place any more trades, because in hindsight I'm going like, why did I do this and why do I do that? But sometimes when we're trading, we're not even ourselves, especially if we're experiencing losses after losses like I did yesterday and today. So I'm gonna have to reflect this weekend on the things that I have to change. I think I'm going to set a hard rule that I'm allowed to take 3 consecutive losing trades, but after the second losing trade I have to walk away and clear my mind, come back to place the third trade. And the other thing that I have to really consider is maybe I should be locking in profit instead of expecting big moves. I don't take huge size, like my size is kind of medium, so I want the stock to move or to make big moves for it to be, or for it to be worth of me locking in profit. So, but maybe I'm gonna consider increasing my share size and locking in profit more quickly, because I'm usually right on my ideas. It's just I'm too late to lock in profit, and then it comes back down, and that just snowballs into me trading and overtrading. Thank you for watching this recap, and I'll be back on Monday. Have a good weekend.